Good day, lovely people. My name is Dominique, and I'm back for a quick discussion on well, this is quite a delicate topic that requires so much attention, but I'm going to spend 7 slides talking about it. So, in any case, maybe the best thing I can do is open your mind a bit and get you thinking. Let's say that's the aim of this video, and we're talking about jobs, specifically math related jobs, and specifically regarding the realities of the South African economy. Now, from video one, you saw, well, mathematics is super important, and you saw that decent marks in your mathematics is super important if you want to apply for a university degree. And also a loads of them, so a broad range of university degrees. Okay, so if you don't like mathematics, I suggest you take it out for a nice date, buy it some flowers, and really get to know it well and learn to love it. Okay. Another thing to take into account is, well, mathematics jobs in South Africa is one thing, but we also have to be realistic, right? So you want to do the next or the following. If you finish your degree in, let's say, 4 years, you want to be guaranteed almost with a 80% certainty that you will get a job, right? I mean, that's the whole idea of going to university, spending all the time, spending all the money, putting in your blood, sweat, and tears, as it were. You want to at least know that there's a good chance of you getting a job. So this needs to, unfortunately, sway or affect your decision as to what to study. There's a lot to be said about chasing your passion and doing what you love and never having to work for a day in your life. If you love, do something that you love. But the reality of the matter is that a lot of people, most people on earth, don't get to do that. And as I always say, you can't buy a house or food with passion. So let's just leave that conversation there. Okay. Now, I want to highlight two important things. And I think these are both very positive in the context also of the South African job market, because sometimes that thing looks very dismal and very negative. But I want to say, hey, we're in a digital era. There's a lot, and by a lot, I mean, I don't want to say an infinite amount, but there's a lot of data related, sort of statistics related jobs. Okay. So if you're sort of educating yourself along those lines, at least you can find some kind of job, right? And if you say, well, I make it my 5 to 10 year aim to do something more in lines of my passion, that's fine, but at least it gives you some kind of foot in the door, let's say. And then also, a lot of these jobs, I think, certainly after this pandemic now, has moved online. And I want to venture as far as to say that in the future, this might mean that you have, even if you stay in South Africa, have access to international jobs. Because a lot of the first world nations or countries have a shortage of people, so they have an excess amount of jobs, and they're drastically looking for, or desperately looking for people to do these types of jobs, right? So I think things are kind of positive in this sense. Now, more conventional jobs, or jobs that are heavily dependent on mathematics, obviously as an engineer, because this is a mathematics sort of channel, I want to venture out and just mention some of them, right? But you can also do something like a mathematics teacher, an engineering job. When deciding what to do, if I can give a piece of advice, I would say take into account to what degree So where on the scale of introvert and extrovert you lie? Okay, if you're a super big introvert, don't choose to become a mathematics teacher because them kids are going to drive you mad. So I think that's a big, for me personally, that has been a big factor. I can say that because I'm completely in the middle of introvert and extrovert, so both types of jobs drive me insane, let's say, but okay. Okay, so these are the more conventional ones. We're thinking about accounting, we think about actuarial degree, we're thinking about something in finance, so quantitative finance, that's a lot of financial mathematics, which is kind of hardcore. We're thinking about the different engineering disciplines, and also there's a lot of nuances and a lot of interesting things. But you're also thinking about these guys over here, which are sort of very related to jobs in the future. You're thinking about computer science degrees, mathematics and applied mathematics and statistics. And indeed, a lot of universities offer degrees sort of that are combinations of these three disciplines, right? And so by following a course like that, you could really venture into multiple directions, obviously being applied mathematics and even statistics and even IT. This lends itself, it gives you a core skill set which you can apply to any industry of your choice, right? So there you can hook it to and link it to your interests. So let's say your interest is gardening. Then you can apply these skills for a company that specializes in fertilizer or grows, I don't know, cabbage or something like that. But also, if you're interested in fashion, you can apply these core skills and go work for a company that, I don't know, imports fabric. You know, so the sky is the limit if you have these core skills. And I think, truly speaking, in the future, and I see this also with myself now, whatever you go and do in the future, a certain amount of that relies on your IT skills. So you're always going to be required to know a little bit programming, whether the language, the programming language is totally irrelevant, whether it's Python or C#, it doesn't matter. You're going to be required to understand how to code a bit, whether you're making a website. All of it sort of depends on your basis knowledge of this, and this is why I highly recommend it. If we're talking about upping your probability of finding a job in the next couple of years. Yes, jobs are scarce in South Africa, but we're still linked to an international community that's going in the trend of digitization, and so you'll never ever really you'll never regret having these skills. They will always be and increasingly be in demand in the future. That's all I want to say. Having said that, I mean, I'm happy to talk to you on an individual basis if you have a little bit further detailed questions. I realize it's very important, very difficult to choose what you want to do at the age of 17, 18. Super important. But remember, this is always a basis, right? And so in the future, you might be able to change it a bit. It's not set in stone. You're not going to do this till you're 87. Things change also, but it's a good platform to launch a career off. Okay, so having said all these background things, in the next videos, we'll talk more specifically mathematics.